16.
I think if you ask.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Wednesday, October 18th, 2023. Mr. Pena, do we have a need for non-public this evening?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. We do RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2, lowercase c, reputation, and lowercase e, pending litigation.
Thank you. So our agenda is consideration of minutes. First set we have is from September 6th.
I have some changes on page 8. Looking under C, the first paragraph that has Mrs. Murray, and the 1, 2, 3, 4th sentence, after 2028, it said for line items. Just stick it right after 2018.
Okay.
Okay, and then on 9, 1, 2, third paragraph up, first sentence, other things I saw was 180,000 in the 2022 budget. And then I can just go right on. And those are the only two I have.
Any other corrections or comments?
I'll make a motion to accept as amended.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Brian to accept as amended for September 6th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next set is for October 4th, 2023, the budget meeting. I don't hear any corrections on that. I'd entertain a motion.
So move.
Motion by Dave, seconded by Brian to approve as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next set is October 4th, the regular meeting.
The only thing I have on this set of minutes was that we wanted to have a meeting on November 9th. In my understanding, the Great Hall is not
I've
open.
got that as a talking point under town manager's report to reschedule.
Okay, that's the only thing I had.
Any other questions, comments?
Motion to approve the October 4th meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion by Luke, seconded by Linda to approve the October 4th regular meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We have some public hearings this evening. Let's see. Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 18th at the Town Hall, Great Hall Room to consider an application for issuance of an alcohol beverages permit to the Lakes Region Newcomers Club to host a new members reception that will serve beer and wine at the Abenaki Lodge. Do you have anybody here to present this? Come on up, please.
Hi, thank you for your consideration. My name is Margaret Connor. I'm the president of the Lakes Region Newcomers Club. We'd like to host an event for our new members. We have 78 new members in the club since March 1st, and we usually hold these meetings, these gatherings twice a year. We're picking the Abenaki Ski Lodge this year because we want to show our new community members what a beautiful facility we have. We're having a tour of the ice rink and the facility, and we're having a 2-hour party, I guess I'd call it, gathering at this lodge from 5 to 7 p.m., and it's going to be catered by Morrissey's, and we would just like to be able to serve some beer and wine.
Okay, thank you. I'll just note there in the part I read didn't have the date on it, but the event will be November 2nd.
Thursday, November 2nd.
Right, yeah, it's
Yeah.
inside here. We just
Okay,
wasn't on the
good.
cover, that's all.
Okay, good, thanks.
So-
Okay, thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'll open up the public hearing to anybody in the audience that has any questions or comments. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Board members, any questions, comments?
The only thing I see is that, and this is for all of our special event permits for tonight, the fire and rescue didn't sign off on any of them. So as long as we approve it contingent to getting the sign off, I don't have an issue.
I believe there is an email in the packet that states there's no issues.
Yep, right here. No issues. Next page.
I'll make a motion to issue an alcohol beverage permit to the Lakes Region Newcomers Club to hold a new members reception that will serve beer and wine at the Abenaki Lodge on November 2nd, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Dave. Any other discussion? I will just add that I did see the email from Chief Zodi in there saying there's no
Yep.
issues on his end, so
Yep.
thank you, Brian, for that. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you're all set.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, the next public hearing will be the Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 18th at the Great Hall Town Hall to consider a temporary event permit for the Wolfeboro Historical Society to host trick-or-treat at the Clark Museum Complex on October 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. Permit number 2023-62.
I'm Louise Horskin, President of the Wolfeboro Historical Society, and this is an event that we have held the past 3 years. Four? This is the fourth year. We started it during COVID so that the kids could have trick-or-treating and have it in a safe place, and we are doing it again for the trick-or-treaters of Wolfeboro and probably surrounding areas. It will be held 5 to 8 on Halloween, and it will be at the Clark Museum Complex. You want to say about the students coming in? Sure. The kids.
Hi, Libby Shannon. We have the children enter in the back of the Clark Museum at the picket fence of the firehouse, and they just walk through along the fence and they exit in front of the barn, so they're not actually all over the grounds. And we have quite a few volunteers, and out, so over when the candy's gone.
The theme?
Oh, the theme is a dragon lair. So that's all.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll open up the public hearing to anybody in the audience that has any questions or comments. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
I got the same thing. No, not fire and rescue. They didn't sign off. Oh, and we need an insurance policy, which they said that they thought was already sent in, but it's not attached.
Karen from Avery Insurance, I had asked her to send in, and I don't have my cell phone with me because I don't carry one. I'm technologically incorrect. And she sent it in the same day that I requested it.
Okay.
And she sent it in about a week ago.
Yep.
So it should be somewhere
Here
between
somewhere.
Avery Insurance and here, but
Yeah.
I'll double check with her tomorrow.
We can approve a contingent upon getting it in the file here, so.
So move to issue a temporary event permit for the Wolfeboro Historical Society to host the trick-or-treat at the Clark Museum Complex on October 31st from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., contingent upon receiving a copy of the insurance binder and a sign-off from the fire department. Permit number 2023-62.
Second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Luke. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, next public hearing is the Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 18th at the Great Hall Town Hall to consider a temporary event permit for the Kingswood Youth Center to host trick-or-treat at the Clark Museum Complex on October 31st from 5 to 8 p.m., permit number 2023-60.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Zachary Porter. I'm Executive Director of the Kingswood Youth Center. To provide some clarity, and I did make this clarification to the folks from the Historical Society, we wish to set up along Clark Road using the park space well away from the museum complex. We've had this approved and done this for a number of years. What we do is we park our small bus in a really, really small setup, a table with a small tent and a very small light, and we hand out candy to trick-or-treaters. We get our teenagers as well as our volunteers involved in the handing out candy, and we also give the teenagers an opportunity to trick or treat. And we found it a great way to balance a little bit of community service and giving back and representing the center with also some safe and fun enjoyment of supervised enjoyment of Halloween.
Okay, thank you, Zach. At this time, I'll open up the public hearing. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I wasn't sure at first if this was going to be in conjunction with them and working together, but I get it now that you're a separate location there, so. Board members, any questions, comments?
Yeah, I have a couple. The insurance policy expired in June of 2023, and it was for the Chili Challenge. You must have an updated policy in writer for us?
Yes.
Did you mail it in?
Forgive me, may I submit that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Anything else? I'd entertain a motion.
Move to issue a temporary event permit for the Kingswood Youth Center to host Trick or Treat at the Clark Museum Complex on October 31st from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., contingent upon receiving a new insurance certificate and a sign-off from Fire Rescue.
Second.
Motion by Luke, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. All set. Thanks. Next public hearing, the Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing Wednesday, October 18th at the Great Hall to consider a temporary event permit for the Rotary of Wolfeboro to hold the annual Christmas tree fundraiser at the Clark Museum Complex from November 21st to December 16th, 2023, on weekends from 10 to 4 p.m. Permit number 2023-61.
Thanks. I'm Zachary Porter. I'm president of the Rotary Club of Wolfeboro. As many people know, we've done this for a number of years. In the last few years, we've sold 350 Christmas trees, native New Hampshire Christmas trees. 100% of our proceeds earned go to local nonprofit organizations, as well as high school scholarships for graduating seniors at Kingswood and local graduating seniors at Brewster Academy. Many people have been buying from us for many, many years, and we thank those people. It's a lot of fun. We did hear from the fire department chief Zotti. We do typically have a wood fire during the event for warmth and ambiance and to add to the merriment of it. We did get permission from the chief via an email to do that. Typically, it takes about 3 weekends to sell out the trees, selling 3 days each week. And we've also checked in with the Historical Society and gotten their okay.
Okay, thank you, Zach. I'll open up the public hearing. Do anybody has any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
Yeah, again, we have an insurance policy that expired on 7/1/2023, so we just needed an updated rider.
Yeah, and forgive me, clearly I was pretty sloppy in that regard, so I'll get those right out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Make a motion to issue a temporary event permit for the Rotary of Wolfeboro to hold the annual Christmas tree fundraiser at the Clark Museum Complex from November 21st to December 16th, 2023, on weekends from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Contingent upon a new updated insurance certificate, and we'll need that letter that you got from Chief Zotti. The text,
Thank you.
the email, or whatever, yeah.
Yes, I will send that as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Zach. Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Luke, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, our next public hearing. Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on October 18th, 2023, at the Great Hall to consider Temporary event permit for the Wolfeboro Chamber of Commerce to host Christmas in Wolfeboro from November 25th to December 25th, 2023 at various locations downtown and includes the annual Christmas parade, permit number 2023-59.
Hi, Mary DeVries, and we're excited for the return of Christmas in Wolfeboro, which is a month-long event, and it does kick off with the parade on November 25th. Starting right now, though, we're working with the Wolfeboro Municipal Electric Department to secure that Wolfeboro's community Christmas tree. So that's really the first step, and having that in place in time for Parade Day on November 25th. We have heard from Santa, and not only Santa Claus, but Mrs. Claus is going to join him for the parade and arrive in Wolfeboro on that day. And they're sharing their elves who are working to get Santa's hut ready and have it in place to welcome them when they get here. We do have some things before the parade starts going on. Bob Mulholland, he's local here, and he will have his unique fire truck. This will be the second year he's doing this. He will have it parked right at the outside of the railroad station building, starting at 1 o'clock on the 25th of November. And it is a fill a truck with toys event, so the families and children can get a look inside the fire truck and outside, of course, and donate a toy as they wish to the Wolfeboro Children's Christmas Fund, which is organized by the Wolfeboro Police Department. So looking forward to having that back. And then we have some local elementary school students who will be caroling at the community Christmas tree leading up to the start of the parade. So they were here last year, and they're coming back again. And then, of course, it's the parade, and Santa's hut will open following the parade at 4 o'clock. Jumping ahead a little bit, 2 weeks from then, which is the weekend of Saturday, December 9th, will be the Christmas Spirit Open House, and businesses are planning for their unique celebrations of the holiday season that they'll have on that weekend. And it also will be a time when the public can decide if they're able to and would like to donate to the Life Ministries Food Pantry and the Wolfeboro Children's Christmas Fund on that Christmas Spirit Open House weekend as well. So, and lots of visiting with Santa in between all the other days. And there's no cost at all for anyone to come in and talk with Santa.
All right, very good, thank you. I'll open up the public hearing to anybody that has any questions or comments. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members, any questions, comments, motions?
Move to issue a temporary event permit for the Wolfeboro Chamber of Commerce to host the Christmas in Wolfeboro from November 25th to December 25th, 2023 at various locations downtown, and includes the annual Christmas parade. We need to have the police and fire sign off on this, and it's permit number 2023-59.
Second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Luke. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. And opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Next on our agenda is a public hearing for unanticipated funds. Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 18th. It's at the Great Hall Town Hall for acceptance of unanticipated funds for an amount donated that is over $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:96-B3A, relative to a donation of funds up to $106,000 from Brewster Academy for the purposes of final fit-up of locker rooms, number 118 and number 120. This will be at the Pop Whalen, I'm assuming, here. So, you'd like to come up and speak to anything, or Peter, or anything, or do we have any?
Not anything really to address. Peter Gilligan, Brewster Academy. Just want to say, thank you for working with the town, and we look forward to the fit out of the new locker rooms. Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it, Peter. I'll open up the public hearing for anybody that has any questions or comments. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Board members?
Move to accept unanticipated funds for the amount of donated that is over $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:96B-3 relative to a donation of funds up to $106,000 from Brewster Academy for the purpose of final fit-up of locker rooms number 118 and number 120.
Second.
Motion by Luke, seconded by Dave. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain.
And one abstention. Thank you very much. Okay, next on our agenda is our bulk vote. Includes 2 weekly manifests. Manifest of October 6th was $823,435, and manifest for October 13th was $350,673. We have a current use application for property on New Garden Road and a raffle permit in here, so board members have a motion for this one?
I'll make a motion to accept the bulk vote A through C.
Second.
Motion to approve the bulk vote, items A through C, which we just read off. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have no board or committee appointments. So under new business, we have a request for the use of the railroad station room by Lakes Region Model Railroad.
I thought we had this one first. Did you get the revised agenda?
No.
Okay, the revised agenda has
Okay.
the MOU. Oh, you
We'll go
did.
ahead.
Yep.
We'll bring John up, do this, and I'll...
Thank you. John Sims, Lakes Regional Model Railroad Museum. Last year, we rented from the town the empty room in the back of the railroad station behind the Chamber of Commerce. Very helpful, very successful. We would like to do the same this year. Last year, we began January 1. We'd like to begin as soon as the Garden Club has removed their wreaths, which they think will be November 20. So we'd like to rent it from November 20 through to April 30th and pay the rent that we agreed to last year. It will be larger because the room is now completely empty, whereas last year it was not. And we will have the updated insurance, and that's our request to you. Thank you.
Okay.
Brad?
Yes, Linda.
Last night, Wolfeboro uses the railroad station for an escape house put on by the Girl Scouts on December 31st. So it really will need to be January 1 because we use it on the 31st.
Okay. Could we use it as a storage place between then and now and then?
I think they have, I will get confirmation, but they fill that and people go through the room. So I think it will be difficult for you to store things. But let me talk with the woman who's running the event.
Yes.
So at this point, it needs to be January 1, unless I can find out it won't make any difference. But I think it will.
If they do need it, could we rent it and then clear out and give them access on that day? Because we would like to prepare the tree for the Festival of Trees. We would like to set up a small layout that we'll be transferring into the freight house later. And we could be out of there for a day or two if that works for them.
I will check, but my guess is if you could have it emptied by the 30th or 31st, we could make it work, but I need to confirm that. I'm comfortable with if it's empty on the 31st, and
Okay.
30th, 31st, whatever that.
Right.
So I'll talk to you when I know for sure whether she needs it just
Thank
one
you.
day or 2 days.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
So we'll be able to work out the details on that.
I'll work out it
Okay.
once I find out from the Girl Scouts exactly what they need.
What they need, okay. Any other discussion or comments from the board? Somebody like to make a motion, or we want to?
I'm comfortable making a motion to allow the Lakes Region Model Railroad to use the railroad station building old nursery school section from November 20th to December 30th, be vacant the 31st, and then on January 1st to get back in until April 30th.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Brian. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we'll jump up to Brewster for the use of the Pop Whalen MOU.
And I'm going to step down.
Okay?
So, Mr. Chairman, this MOU is very similar to that one which was approved for the Friends, or for the Back Bay Hockey Association. This gives the Friends of Pop Whalen a mechanism to continue their fundraiser in an effort to meet their donation of the $2.7 million. This is something that they have been working on for a number of years, and I believe there's a representative from the Friends of Pop Whalen and Brewster Academy to speak on behalf of this.
Okay.
Good evening, Victor Druin, President of Friends of Pop. So the selectmen, you guys had all allowed us to construct these rooms with a goal of licensing them out. And essentially before you is the license agreement that for Brewster Academy for 2 dedicated lockers for them, for the term, very similar. It's pretty much the same deal as we did a few weeks ago with Back Bay Hockey for locker room number 8. And, it's a important component of our fundraising, and, they're an important user at the facility. So we really, we certainly, are glad to have them on board and moving this forward. So.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else want to speak to it at all, or? No?
I'm Peter Gilligan, Brewster Academy. Appreciate all the hard work with Vic on my time on the board with him and on the other side of the aisle. It's been a lot of work to get this MOU done. Thanks, James, and everything that we've had to get here. We support it, and we hope that the town and the administration here in the town will support it too. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, questions, comments? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU with Brewster Academy for the Pop Whalen Ice and Art Center locker room use agreement.
And that'd be to authorize Jim to sign it too?
And authorize the town manager to sign it.
Second.
Motion by Luke, seconded by Brian, to move ahead with the MOU locker room use agreement. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Now having I got the other one written in here. That's the only other one that wasn't on my agenda. So we're going to be down to
Oh, you're crazy.
Wolfeboro Municipal Electric Department Building and Community Center project update from Ty and Bond.
So we're in the process of getting books printed for you regarding the Phase 2 environmental impact study, which was done on the site. The document's about 200 and something pages in length. We will be placing it on the website for people to review. A couple of really interesting things that have happened on this site over the past year. Number one, we've been required to conduct annual testing on the site by state regulations. Interestingly enough, the company who does the testing for us, it's no longer in their business model to perform this type of testing, so we're in the process of finding a new vendor. With that said, Ty and Bond did go through, they did drilled some additional observation wells, and they did some substantial testing. The good news is they did not find any contaminants which would prohibit excavation from taking place on the site. So that's all positive news. Everything was well within state and federal EPA limits, and that's a positive find. Relative to the municipal electric building itself, they did identify some PCBs within the facility. However, they believe that the levels of contamination which they found, they may be able to go in and simply do what they call a scarifying of the concrete floor to remove that contamination so that we'll be able to use that facility. So the site is actually good for work going forward. Relative to the existing community center, they did find a significant amount of lead, asbestos, as you can probably well imagine, within that building. And they really can't dive into the walls and whatnot until such a point that a decision's made what we're going to do with the facility. So there is some risk there that when we open up the walls, there may be some things that we find if we decide to keep that building. Same thing with the municipal electric building. They found some lead paint and some asbestos, but it wasn't anything in that building that was significant. They felt that you could simply sandblast the walls to be able to contain the lead paint and remove it from site. So the takeaway at this point is the site is in a condition where we can do some additional studying. So Ty and Bond is working with us at this point to develop, as we discussed, an RFP to come have a architect be able to come in and look at the site and come up with some conceptual plans as to what may be the best option on that facility going forward. I would anticipate that we would have the draft RFP within the next 30 days so that we can go ahead and get that issued in advance of the warrant season. With that said, we do believe that there is some trust fund monies that are available to help fund this space needs assessment, essentially, on the site. Amy has been working with the trustees on that particular account, and that's an article that could be coming in front of you to either reauthorize those funds out of that trust or to raise and appropriate money to do that study as part of the 2024 proposed budget. That's a quick summary of a lot of really deep information that is provided in that report.
Linda?
Yeah, I just have one concern. We have a lot of bonding and stuff on our plate right now. We're going to have a hit on to the tax rate. And I would like, while we go over the warrant articles for the board, to see when they really see that we could do this project realistically, and then decide when we need to do a study. I hate to do a study ahead of time and then find that the town's needs have changed a couple years down the line. So that's my only concern.
My exact thoughts, we can take baby steps with this and do what we need to, but we don't want to do anything because we're probably not going to be ready for this for 5, 6, maybe more years. We don't want to do any investigation that 5 or 6 years down the road is no longer valid. So as long as we take small increments and make sure that what we do has value going down the road, I think we need to consider that.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Those are my thoughts the same. I mean, this thing could be 6, 7, could be end of the, 20, 28, 29, 30, I don't know. There's a lot on our plate right now, and I think, we need to move slowly with these new projects.
Any other comments? I think kind of have the, no. This is the community center we're talking about, the municipal electric department building and the community center on Laner Street. Yep. I guess kind of the consensus of the board is to keep it on the plate, but we're going to proceed slowly.
Sure. Yep. We can absolutely do that.
Okay. Next on our agenda is our actual versus budget for September 30th.
Good evening, Kathy Carpentier, Finance Director. I'm here to report on September 2023 actual versus budget report. The general fund operating budget is currently at 83%, which is slightly above the 9-month average of 75%. Water fund is at 82%, electric at 78%, sewer is at 92%, and Pop Whalen is at 99%. The revenues for general fund are currently at 80%, with motor vehicles strong at 82%. Water is at 92%, municipal electrics at 78%, sewer is at 90%, and Pop Whalen's at 47%. Some of the items that we just continue to watch are our fuels and overtime. Oil for the whole town is at 62%, gas is at 59%, diesel is at 86%, and legal is at 59%, and that is percent spent. Overtime for general fund is at 92%, with police at 80%, fire at 82%, highway and streets is at 100%. So hopefully we can just coast off into the new year. And some of these overtime amounts are from open positions, so you might have some favorability in other line items, but we are closely watching fuel and overtime lines. If you have any questions, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
I've one comment. I'm assuming that the revenue's only at 80%. You're expecting that to get caught up when the tax bills come in for 2023?
Yes.
Okay.
And again, motor vehicles is a strong candidate in there, so yes.
Any other questions, comments? All right, thank you, Casey, on that.
You're welcome.
Next is going to be a discussion on our revenues, the MS 434.
Yes, my apologies for just getting this done today. I did put it on the agenda last week, but needed to wait till the audit was wrapped up to finalize it. So if you'd like to defer this till next Monday, we could do that, or I could discuss it with you now. Not a lot of change. I went through the revenues, looked at September actuals, and made some increases and decreases, but overall only increased the revenue projection by $88,641, which is 3 cents on the tax rate. Some of the big drivers would be we're doing very well on interest on investments since we started putting money in New Hampshire PDIP. So I'm recommending increasing that $175,000, and then motor vehicles increasing that $50,000. So if you'd like to digest this over the next few days, I'd be more than happy to wait till Monday, or if you're comfortable with what I gave you this morning, I would like a motion to approve the revised estimated revenues in the amount of $36,923,257 to support the 2023 tax rate. Did I go too fast?
Board members?
It's at the bottom of the page. She's looking at this one, right?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the revised estimated revenue for 2023 in the amount of $36,923,257 as recommended by the Finance Director.
Second.
Motion by Linda, seconded by Dave and Brian. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
While we have KC here, we got an interesting email from the County of Carroll today. You want to kind of update the public on what bad news we received?
No. So the county bill is going up to $3.3 million, up from $2.6 million, which is going to be a 26-cent increase on the county line alone. It's a 24% increase, and yeah, I can't speak to why it's going up like that, but that is the bill that the tax collector will have to collect the funds and turn them over in December to the county.
And so it's going to be important on when we can get our tax bills out in order to get money in to pay this, correct?
That is correct. So by approving the MS 434, which is what you just did, tomorrow I'll finalize that. We are still waiting for the school. The regional proportionment has not been done yet. I did reach out to ask if they knew when, but we're kind of waiting for that last piece of the puzzle before we can even finalize the tax rate. So, but yeah, the county was a great surprise on a Monday morning. So,
Yeah, right, how to start the week.
all right.
Would you like some information? The delegation approved the chief financial officer's recommendation that they use substantially less fund balance in 2023. By using the fund balance for the last several years, the tax rate increase was minimum. This caught up with the county. 2022 budget was $35,434,798. The fund balance to offset it was $3,554,394. Raised by taxes was $17,580,549. For 2023, the budget was $37,482,804, a 5.8% increase. Fund balance to offset was only $2 million. Raised by taxes was $21,386,113. So because of that, they take less out of the fund balance, we are getting hit with the $861,000 and change dollars.
Okay. I guess we take away from that, there's nothing really much we can do from it from a town standpoint. It is on the town tax bill, but it is kind of just a pass-through. We collect it and we pay it over to the county. So, are there any more questions that I can help with? All righty.
No, good. Thank you, Casey.
Thanks. Have a
Thanks,
good night.
Casey. Next on our agenda is the capital improvement program.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Barnard. I'm here on behalf of the Planning Board to submit to you the 2024 to 2033 Capital Improvement Program. This has been approved by the Planning Board after holding the required public hearing for the public to comment. This is an advisory document developed by the CIP Committee to serve as a guide for the Board of Selectmen and Budget Committee to use as you prepare the 2024 budget. The plan is for municipal projects over $100,000. The projects that are shown are spread out on the sheets that you have are spread out over 10 years, but taking into consideration the needs of the town and the impact on the taxpayers. Included in this program are the capital reserve accounts, which we add to each year. In addition to the 2024 projects, we have listed the Horizon projects. These projects only have a ballpark figure of the expenses and have been added so that you will be alerted to the community needs we're aware of for the next 10 years. One of the projects in the list of the 2024 project is the Libby Museum. That's not $100,000. But this is something that the committee felt should be included because this is a town-owned building and it is our obligation to take proper care of the building. And in addition, it's shown as the Horizon project in 2033. Also listed for 2027 is a ballpark figure to create a community center at the electric department and the existing community center. I just want to thank the town manager and finance director for all their help, along with the department heads. Also to the CIP committee, Linda Murray is on that, along with Brian as the alternate to Linda. Bob Lohman from the budget committee, And then some of our citizens, Suzanne Ryan, Paul Whalen, Tim Cronin, and Chuck Sumner, and we've all worked together to put together this CIP program. And Jim, I guess I'm going to turn this over to you. Is that right?
Sure. So, I mean, you've got the document. All of the warrant articles that you've received drafts from are based on this plan coming to you. The committee actually made some recommendations this year to move some projects around within the CIP plan, which obviously the goal is to try and stabilize. I think they did a good job at moving those things around. And then the last thing I think I would add is we are planning on, here in the next couple of weeks, I believe, to hold a critique of the CIP process to see if there's any efficiencies or improvements that we can make in the process going forward. So if there's something that you as the board, as you dive into this, see that you'd like to see for improvements, you should either reach out to your peer board members or myself, and we can make those known at the critique.
Any questions from the board? Thank you, Kathy. Do you want to do a motion to accept this, the CIP, or agenda kind of calls for an approval of it?
Well, I think this CIP is the planning board's plan. The planning board approved it, and I think they're just presenting it to us at this point. Yeah, so I don't think we have to prove anything.
Yep, I agree. Sounds good. Next agenda is appointment, Josephine Amatucci, to discuss a raffle request.
Good evening. I already put everything before you, and I'm wondering what your response is.
Okay, so what you're requesting is to get permission from us to operate this raffle for the town, and you want to hold it at the library, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I personally have a problem with authorizing a raffle to be held inside of a town-owned building.
Honey, I don't want a person.
You wanted an answer from me?
I don't want a personal
I'm telling you what the board know, what my feeling is. We're all going to discuss it.
Because the people of the town all want this, so it doesn't matter what your personal opinion is. You have to tell me that my idea is against the law. And if it's not, and if the whole town wants it, your opinion means nothing.
It'll mean something when we come to a vote to say yes or no on this. So, as far as
you better have a good reason, not for a personal opinion. You have to have a good legal reason not to allow it for the people, by the people.
Okay,
this town belongs to the people. You people, government doesn't understand.
Okay, here's my reason right here, Josephine. Under the Code of Conduct Policy for the Wolfeboro Public Library, item number 6, these following activities are specifically prohibited: soliciting for any purpose. Running a raffle within the building is soliciting from the people coming into the building for funds to go toward a raffle.
Okay,
so that's why right there.
Am I not correct that the employees of the library have raffles?
None that I know of.
Yeah, well, I know of.
Well,
they have raffles. Now wait. They have raffles, so don't deny it. I put it in writing. You could have spoken to them, and you could have asked them if I was right or wrong.
You could prove it to us.
I know they have raffles.
You prove it to us, and I don't believe that they have raffles up there. There's nothing we've heard of. They haven't gotten any permits from us to conduct a raffle in the library. They have not gotten a permit from us to conduct a raffle in the library, the workers there.
Well, why do they need a permit from you to hold a raffle?
Because it's on our town, in our town buildings.
Because it's on a town building.
Because it's one of our requirements. It's one of the town's requirements to hold a raffle. We granted one to the chamber today in our bulk vote. That's how it's done, and we're the entity that either says yes or no.
Okay, I can give you a number of libraries that have raffles. They all have raffles. So you cannot tell me that it's against the law to have a raffle in a library. Now, I have a permit from you to hold a raffle.
You can.
Right. And I have a license to hold a raffle. And the library belongs to the people. Now, as far as solicitation, a raffle is not a solicitation. I looked that up legally, and I passed that by the Attorney General, and I passed it by the Lottery Commission. I did everything right before I came to you. I made sure what I was doing was possible and legal, and I can give you the names of the people that I spoke to who, in turn, thought my idea was a great idea.
Brian.
So I have just a question.
Right in the mic.
My question is, what charitable organization is running the raffle?
What are you talking about? That's an open question.
No, yeah,
Why are you asking me that?
I'm asking you which charitable organization is running the raffle?
Where?
If you had a raffle at the library, what charitable organization would be selling the tickets and having the raffle?
You mean as far as mine is concerned?
Yeah.
Oh, it's called the Wolfeboro 50/50 raffle.
And is
Legally.
it a nonprofit LLC?
You mean how I did it? How I gave you the paper on how it's put with the Secretary of State.
Okay,
I
so-
gave you the paper,
Okay.
what it says, and that's exactly what it's called.
I think what he's asking you is, are you incorporated as a 501c3 in terms of the federal government, a tax-exempt entity, a nonprofit?
But this is my personal problem.
Well,
not yours.
but it is our problem because we only grant it to nonprofits.
Wait a minute, you what?
Only grant raffles to nonprofits. Here is an example. We have a ticket. Wait.
Wait a minute, wait.
Wait.
When
no.
you say we, do you mean the town?
I mean the Board of Selectmen who does that.
Well,
Wait a second. Wait. I want to show you what a ticket. We just got this approved, a raffle ticket. It's a raffle ticket for the chamber, and we have a copy of what it is. Yeah, you look at it. You can't keep it because I have other documents attached to it. But that's a raffle ticket. It lays everything out. It's a chamber. The Chamber of Commerce, we just okayed it. It will be a ticket. This person will get this stub, this will go. The prizes, exactly everything about it is on that ticket. We have nothing from you like that. And we grant raffle.
That you have nothing to do with what I'm doing?
I'm saying we're not going to approve what you're doing because we don't have all the material, and second of all, you're not a not-for-profit, and that's who we grant raffles.
I was told I do not have to be a nonprofit.
So
for us, you do.
Yeah. One minute. One minute.
You gave me the okay to run a raffle, and you know that I got your paper. I have your paper where he said I can run a raffle. Don't deny it, because everything I say I have in writing.
No,
all
that
right.
isn't what
Now
we're saying.
I have him say, Mr. Pinio, is it true that you said I can run a raffle?
Okay, one more thing.
Wait, Brian, wait a minute.
Without having the backup in front of me, Josephine, I'm not sure what I may have said. I may have actually said that, but there's a process which you have to go through to get that approved. One of those items within the process is you have to have a nonprofit entity.
You didn't say that. You knew, all of you. I came before all of you. and you knew I was not a nonprofit, and you said you can run it by yourself. You don't have to be an organization. Now listen, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of government stopping everything we want to do, and you think you have complete control over our wishes. This is a fantastic idea for the public, and if it's going to be a problem for the library, that's a different situation. I don't want it to be a problem for the library. And I thought of that also, and I told you how to overcome any problem. First of all, the library employees are not going to be concerned with it. It's going to be an honor system, which means it's going to run itself. Now, you say you don't want the people coming in the library for my raffle. You cannot tell the people not to walk in that library. I don't care for what reason. They can walk in that library. Now, as far as solicitation, I ran that by the Attorney General. It is not solicitation. And like I said, the employees of the library run raffles all the time. So you have no control. I'll tell you, you have no control over this. Unless you come up with a legal reason to stop this for the people, you have no control. I'll get the whole town to come here and tell you you have no control on what is going to benefit their lives.
Brian.
I believe that we did have our town attorney chime in on this, and he did say that it has to be a nonprofit charitable organization for a permit from the BoS, and that falls underneath RSA 287-A:7.
This is not a state statute. I'm not under a state law. This is a local law. You're talking about lotteries. Those are under statutes. A local law, a local ordinance, this is a local issue. So it has to be run locally. It has nothing to do with the state. Now, I'll be here on the next selectmen meeting, and I'm going to tell the people of this town it's about time you fight for your rights. You have to come up with a damn good reason, and you don't have any.
Next on the agenda, under other business, I have...
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right, the hub. Discussion for the Hub 66 grant application.
Oh, I'm going to step down.
Luke is going to step down.
What are we doing?
So, Mr. Chairman, this afternoon, over the past couple days, I've received many correspondence from Hub 66. If you recall, they were here at the last meeting wanting to partner with the town of Wolfeboro to submit a grant to the state for the purposes of expanding broadband to under and unserved areas within the town of Wolfeboro. Their application package contained a map. Those maps show that they intend on building out 88 plus miles of fiber within the town of Wolfeboro. Within the grant, interestingly enough, it states that we have to have areas underserved. We have to provide them speeds of 100 by 20. And it's my understanding, going through some of our archives, that the state's page, which shows the underserved areas, I don't think it's completely accurate. If you recall, back in 2020, when COVID was amongst us, the federal government released some monies to the states. The state released that money to communities for connectivity. And we worked with Atlantic Broadband, and we serviced a large number of our underserved or unserved areas. We also entered into an agreement with Charter Spectrum to provide internet capabilities in the Browns Ridge Road area, and I do believe, based on our observations at that time, there was approximately 78 homes, which accounted for about 7 miles of unserved residents within the town of Wolfeboro. From what I can see, all of those areas are now currently served with 100 by 20 internet services. Additionally, when you look at the application which was submitted by Hub 66 to the board for review, that application shows connections and the fees for various levels of service. However, it does not show the option of 100 by 20 megabyte service to the citizens of Wolfeboro. Their minimal is 100 by 100. Further, when you look at the project, they're looking at a project of $5.5 million, I believe it is. They're asking the state for $3 million and some change, and then there's a balance of just shy of $2.3 million for the rest of this project. And I think the question becomes, do we have the capacity to take that on, or is that Hub 66's responsibility to take that on? I believe it is Hub 66's responsibility. However, we've got no financial background from Hub 66 to justify this moving forward. It appears the only place that is not built out in the town of Wolfeboro is through the downtown corridor, as we discussed in the meeting last time. So while I think this is a great opportunity and an opportunity to get competition into the community for internet services, I'm not sure we're ready to pull the trigger on this yet. I think there's more data that needs to be provided to the town, including who services when somebody does not have internet. Who do they call? How do they get that service? I think there's a lot of unknowns here. I know the board conceptually at the last meeting agreed to move forward with this. However, I think that there are some more questions than answers at this point. And I'm not sure if anybody from Hub 66 is online to potentially answer questions for the board. I can try to answer any questions you might have relative to what I observed through the application and the memo that I sent you this afternoon from putting all this information together.
Linda.
Yeah, Brad, where I start having the problem, and I told Jim, I wrote to Jim about it, is we as a governing body would have to agree that BMGI provider is technically, managerial, and financially capable of meeting the obligations of the fund requested. And I don't have the documents that I could vote that in. I don't have any financial statements. When I looked at some of the addresses that were underserved, and 2 of my houses are underserved, but that was a decision we went with DSL. So some of the underserved people have made other decisions. So I'm not quite sure what criteria they use for underserved and unserved.
Mm-hmm. Dave.
Yeah, I thought that the information we had before was that they were going to service some of the islands like Bondor, Keniston, some of those islands over in that area, some of which aren't even in Wolfeboro. But this, to me, shows a whole different program. I want more information like you do.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think there's like as Jim said too, that there's more questions than answers right now. I think we do need more information to move forward with this, and I think we need to request that and then go from there.
I thought they have a drop-dead date, and didn't you ask for them to clarify some of the...
Friday at 3 o'clock is their
Drop-dead.
drop-dead date, and I have not heard a thing since I sent the memo with all the attachments this afternoon.
Anything else?
The other thing that I would add, that dashboard that Dave is showing, I'm pretty sure that that's data that was put together from the consolidated study that was done in 2019, 2020, when we were applying for those other state grants. And I frankly do not believe that they've been updated based on the maps that they were showing.
Yeah. Yep.
So if we take no action, that takes care of it.
I believe that does.
Yep. Okay. All right, moving on to other business. We received a letter from Jim Bean out on Wambeck Road. I'm going to read into the minutes here. Addressed to the Wolfeboro Selectmen. Our family has enjoyed downhill skiing in Abenaki and also hiking and biking on the town trails. We also welcome hiking and biking and skiing on our trails. The new bike trail that crosses the downhill trail is the downhill trails, Headwall Freeway, and the Glades is constructed without any forethought. I believe the majority of the bikers would have been fine with a 12-inch catwalk across these three areas. Instead, there are two cuts creating ski jumps at or near the steepest pitches of the mountain and a deep cut with boulders in the Glades. This is going to create a lot of work for the snowmakers year after year to make it safe for skiers. Sincerely, Jim Bean, 145 Wambeck Road. Want to read that into the minutes there. I was trying to remember, when these bike trails were being put in discussions, was like the cross-country ski trail, and was the, Parks and Rec, were they involved in some of the discussions of the work that was going to be done there? And
I do believe that Chuck Smith was involved with a lot of that. I haven't had an opportunity to speak with Chuck since I've received this information. I'll be seeing him tomorrow to get more input.
Okay, thank you. Any other business?
No, but with regards to the trail, Linda and I did go up and look at the trails. And the first crossing, and I don't know the name of the trail, the furthest trail to the right is crossed so that the trail is just slightly flattened out and it just looks like a walking path going across it. When they got to the second trail, they made a cutout in the mountain and it washed all out. So then they had to make an extensive cutout, a drainage swale, cover it with matting, create a stone wall, create a big culvert where, not culvert, but a catch basin filled with large rocks that can catch the water and then put it through a pipe down the other side. So it was quite extensive. Now, there is a Glades area that actually has signs in it that shows that the kids, when there's a lot of snow, can go through a path through the woods and then continue down and come to an intersection where the two trails on the right meet. However, that is not usable now unless they create a 8 to 10 foot high snow bridge with fencing to direct the kids in one area so that they can get down over to the other side of that bike trail. There's also a consideration that these bike trails are going to become ski trails because people are going to see this nice windy trail through the woods covered with snow, but it's not going to be groomed, and they're going to jump on them. So there's going to have to be more fencing put up to cordon those trails off. Where the trails where the bike trails cut through the downhill trails, they said that they're going to have to stack up about 7 feet of snow for probably an area anywhere from 15 to 30 feet or more wide. That's a lot of snow and takes a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of manpower. So there is going to be a lot of additional costs. There was some logs and rocks and everything left scattered around, and we did in our agreement say to them, we wanted things cleaned up and left as natural as possible. That hasn't occurred yet. Maybe they're not done, maybe they're going to do more in the spring, but it's something I think that we should address to make sure that things look as nice as possible, or as close to where they started. So Chris Dow, when he talked to me, and Russ, when we walked it, said that there was going to be a 3 or 4 foot wide flat path, like a walking path area across those two trails, but that didn't happen. It turned into a 12 foot wide, very, very large path. Might have been out of necessity. They didn't understand, our staff, I don't think we communicated well with them on what we expected there. And so our staff, I think, did the best that they could to make sure that the bike trail worked as constructed, wouldn't wash out, and would be usable. But I can see Jim Bean's point where, you know, it did create some other issues. Like when we built Twister and it created washout at the bottom. When you do something, other things can happen sometime. So.
I got to agree with Brian. I was surprised at the cutout. The first one was exactly what I thought. I do understand that it was the washout, and I thought it washed out once or twice, that they had to go to this extent of a cut and widen the trail. The problem's going to be, I think it is going to be more cost for us, and we're going to have to put some barricades up to keep people where they should be so they don't go off the trails. I agree with Brian. I think our staff did whatever they could to have the hill integrity stay, and I don't think they realized to the degree that the trail was going to widen and some of the issues that were going to come up. We are going to have to put a lot of snow in that area to cover it up.
I think we should just definitely be brought to Chris's attention, or has it been yet?
I think it needs to go through Jim.
Chris is listening tonight.
Okay.
Apparently, we're having technical difficulties with people being able to speak. So he, excuse me, he is listening to the conversation.
Okay.
But I don't think the issue we have now is with Chris. I think they did what they had. They got the approval. Yep. Now the problem is with us and how we're going to make the hill safe for the kids back there and how much snow we're going to have to get in it. And I think that's our issue, because I think they got the okay to do what they did.
I just wish that when people do things, they tend to have tunnel vision. They get very wrapped up and concerned with what their wants and desires are. And as human beings, we should look at what are the consequences of our actions when we do something. How is it going to affect others around us and in different ways? When you build a bike trail and it's crossing over a cross-country ski trail or a snowshoe trail or something else, you have to try and use best practices. What am I going to do that's going to make it so that I have a nice recreation area and I'm supporting the other areas, not causing detriment to them?
Okay. Any other comments? All right, I guess we're just talking about the ski trail right now. Pardon? Oh, no, not yet, no. Anything else on this one here? Okay. We're ready for committee reports. Start down there with Brian.
We had a nice EDC meeting, and I didn't make it this time, but they did another tour of the PSI plastics. From what we've heard, things are progressing slowly, but in a very positive manner. That's what PSI Plastics is reporting, which is good. And they know that they have been asked to make sure that any expansion is done while they make sure that they are their company is environmentally prudent in making sure that we don't have the same kind of situation that happened in Merrimack, New Hampshire, where, there was contamination and everything. So they have to have their best practices as a good neighbor, making sure that they're running a good, tight facility. But it's going to expand, and we don't have any manufacturing businesses in town that supply 145 good living wages. This is our only real manufacturing facility, so we should support it.
Brad, you and I had, we had a DOT meeting with DOT and DPW yesterday about the, working towards this community strategy on the water line replacement that's going to happen in 2024 and 2025. Started talking about some of the logistics and, possibilities for traffic patterns and items like that, and how it's going to, what time of the day and all those things. Those things are just starting to be talked about. It was a good, productive conversation with all the relevant people involved.
Linda?
Yep. I had a Friends of Pop Whalen meeting. I attended the town meeting with the residents and engineers on the Forest Road sewer expansion. I had a Wolfeboro Waters meeting. We did a site visit of the damage on Rust Pond caused by the July 16th flood when the beaver dams let go, and we did some discussion of how to change the 319 grant. I had a meeting with the White Gate Road residents. I attended an open house at Taylor Homes, and they are opening their extended care facility. That is now finished. I went to the Chamber Executive Board meeting. I walked with Brian on the cross-country, on the downhill trails, and I attended the tour of PSI. I was very impressed, and I was surprised at how large it was. The last time I was in the building, it was small. And to piggyback on what Brian said, they showed us they had a manual on their environmental issues, not environmental issues, environmental checks that they do, and how they are compliant with EPA. So that was nice to see. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Say, last night we had a planning board meeting. It was a public forum for the audience to give us input mostly on housing and what they'd like to see as far as warrant articles go and how to address it and stuff. Had a Wolfeboro Community TV meeting this morning. Also attended yesterday the same meeting with Luke there with the South Main Street water line. As well attended, we had the engineers were obviously there. DOT was there, fire was there, police was there, DES was there, along with Luke and myself from the town, so it was a very informative meeting. And then I also attended the Forest Road, sewer line extension meeting with Linda here and a lot of the stakeholders down there on Forest Road and Sewell Road. That was it for me. Dave?
Well, there was no Conservation Commission meeting, so I didn't have any other things other than most of us have been having fun with budgets at this point.
That's right, too.
We've been meeting twice a week.
Yeah.
I've had some very nice meals. That's all I have.
Okay. Town manager's report.
A few items. So the public safety building is well underway, as you're well aware. Had a conversation today with an abutter. If there are any abutters out there who have questions and they're not getting their questions answered, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll try to answer any questions that you may have and work with you on moving that project forward. The other item is, if you recall, Linda mentioned it earlier, we had scheduled a Board of Selectmen meeting on November 9th to accommodate around my vacation. That evening, there is a New Hampshire schools funding program, which is being held in this room. Not sure if the board wants to attend that, but if you do, then obviously we can't hold the meeting. If you do not, we could hold the meeting at an alternative location, or we could simply reschedule that meeting to either the 13th, the 20th, or the 27th.
Is the 27th?
Kind of looking for feedback from you. The 13th is that following Monday. There appears to be nothing on the schedule for that evening, so I'm not sure what your thoughts might be.
Let's do it the 27th.
The 27th gets us awful late in November.
No, it's Thanksgiving too, so.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, the 27th.
No, 27th is a Monday.
Thursday.
Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry.
Yeah, let's do it the 16th. That's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I can do it whenever.
Dave's making turkey dinner.
The
can do that.
The 16th is okay. I think the 13th, we have the recap for the
Okay,
business.
I'm fine with whatever.
I guess I may be confused. Where are we at?
No, can you do November 16th?
November 16th, we have a budget committee meeting.
Oh, goodness, I think I had gone through this. Is there another spot for the 9th?
We can, yes, I think we can find another spot on the 9th to meet, the library.
Why don't we just have
That's
it
fine.
then?
I would kind of like to do it because
We got to do the warrant article conversation.
right, and that, on the 8th, the fire ambulance will have gone to the budget committee, and we'd have some
No,
input.
we actually moved that because I will not be here. I think you got that the other night. MED and welfare will be going on the 8th.
So when's go?
I think,
I mean, they've changed that so many times, I can't remember what.
I almost want to say the 16th is when the budget committee is
Gonna see
going
the-
over those items, the fire, police, ambulance conversation.
It sounds like we might want to just go to an alternate location on the 9th.
I think,
That work better for everybody?
Yep.
I think we should.
Okay.
Go to the library
I'll
if
get
it's
that.
available.
I'll see if we can get the library for
Okay.
meeting on the 9th.
At the library.
With that said, one thing that I did not get clarification on, I will not be around on the 15th. Did you want to continue to hold a meeting on the 15th or not? Completely cancel?
I couldn't hear what you said.
The 15th, would you like to hold a meeting that night or completely cancel?
It's a regular meeting night.
Or do you want to play it by ear based on what happens on the 9th?
Yeah.
I think we need to do that, because who knows where we're going to be,
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll hold that. Thank you.
or what might come up.
And that's pretty much all I've got.
Okay.
My wife's going to divorce.
Thank you. Questions from the press? Not until we get to public input. Then you can speak. When you get to public input, then you can come up and speak. We're going through our agenda. So we're questions from the press. Is she able to ask us?
You got,
We're not.
got one more
We
thing
got one
after-
more thing, and then we're going to be there.
I get a text saying that go-to meeting, we're having trouble.
Nobody's able to speak.
Yeah.
So I think Alyssa's trying to, but nothing is coming through Alyssa.
Maybe if she has to, she could reach out to us tomorrow morning or something and
Yep, she can reach
ask
out with
any
her
questions
questions.
if she has to. Okay. Public input.
I asked you to do this last week. I put it in writing. I want you people to put in writing individually why you feel you have a right to stop my raffle in the library. I need that in writing. Now, he just left, but I want to see that letter from the attorney. I'd like to take a look at it, if you don't mind. If you can get that letter that he just raised, I'd like to take a quick look at it.
I don't know what he had there for document. I didn't see it,
Yeah,
so I
he
don't know.
just raised it. He's
Yeah.
got a letter there from the attorney.
What we will do is we will
Here
give...
he is, here he
We will
is.
give a...
Can I see
A
the
written-
letter that you were
Josephine.
talking about that you had from the attorney?
Josephine, we'll give you a letter from the Board of Selectmen stating our stance on it. I don't believe we're going to give you an individual one from every one of these members here as to why.
all right.
So that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. Can I see that letter you was raising up and said it was from the attorney?
I'll talk to counsel and to Jim and
Wait a minute, hello?
Yeah?
Did you just talk about the
You want it?
attorney? All right, now it becomes...
In the microphone.
hold on.
No?
Yeah, if he addressed it in front of the people, it
Which one is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. That's it. Alyssa has nothing. I called Alyssa on the phone, and she said there is no audio, but she doesn't have any question to ask.
Okay.
Okay. You ready for a motion to go into?
Well,
Well, no,
we
we
should check
got,
if there are anybody
we got
else.
other people want to speak to us,
Okay.
so. Are you all set, Josephine? We have other people who'd like to speak to us, so.
Is there anybody else wants to speak?
Yes, there is.
Jesus. Come on. We shouldn't have.
Okay. Microphone. Microphone, Josephine. Into the microphone.
All right, it says here that this was to Amy, that the attorney wrote this to Amy and not to...
Whatever.
It's
This is public input. This is not a question and answer thing. If you have a comment you want to make, that's fine.
This is public input.
Public input. We're not going to answer questions at public input.
This was issue, he spoke about this at my right.
Right. So you can make a comment about it, and that's going to be the end of it. We're not going to answer questions about that.
I want to know, he told me the attorney made no mention of my raffle. The attorney did not want to get involved. You told me the attorney did not want to get involved, and here's a letter that he's involved. Hello?
You asked me, Josephine, if the attorney weighed in on a raffle at the library.
Yeah? And you told me no?
That is correct.
Oh, you mean because it doesn't say library?
correct.
Library has their own regulations.
You did not, you mentioned library.
And that's where you want to
All
have...
right, this says nothing. This
Okay.
says
Okay.
nothing
Correct.
about my raffle.
Correct.
All right.
Letter right away.
You have to put in a 91A request.
I already wrote a letter asking for
Okay.
a letter. You people have it. I already asked. Now, be careful what you put in that letter, because there is no way you're gonna win. I guarantee it. Because I feel so heartful that this is gonna help people so much, nobody is gonna stop it. Nobody.
Any other public input? Jeff or John?
Well, I have a couple of good things and a question. The first is that I want to thank Steve Randall and his sidewalk crew for a fabulous job on behalf of all the residents of Depot Square for repairing the sidewalk outside in the front. It turned it from a winter hazard to a real joy, and thanking him for that. The second thing is that when they were loading up the pianos off the streets to take them away for the winter, I realized how much I was going to miss them. They are a superb addition to downtown Wolfeboro in the summer, and people from 2-year-olds banging away to elderly gentlemen rehearsing their old, vaudeville songs, whatever it is, it's a joy to listen to them. So I want to appreciate that. And then the third thing is, the realtors seem to have discovered that these blue lights all night long must generate some business. I can't see why, but I would like to, and I realize that these are internal lights and not external lights, which makes a whole big difference. But if they could just switch them off at, say, 10 o'clock in the evening, or maybe 11, nobody's going to be looking at them at 3 and 4 and 5 in the morning, which is when they're still on. So if we could just have them, douse them, it'll make this downtown Wolfeboro a lot friendlier, because the blue lights themselves are not friendly. And just more of the soft lights that are downtown would make it that much nicer downtown in the night. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. Anybody else have any public input for us this evening?
Make a motion, we go into non-public.
Second.
Motion and a second go to non-public. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody.